I had fully expected to be a lesbian for my entire life until about 10 years ago when I switched to soy milk and broke up with my girlfriend. When I first started feeling weird, I sort of examined my dietary changes, kind of like you might start a migraine journal, but this was more just like a mental log of like straight people urges. And it turns out that soy milk is high in estrogen, and I was definitely having some unusual cravings. So I still haven't really been able to link soy's position in all of this. I feel like if soy milk were turning straight people gay instead of the other way around, that there would be like a bigger body of research on this. A warning label, even. But what it actually brought all of this about was I had met a man who I found very attractive, and that sort of faded, but it made me realize that I had had crushes on other men throughout the course of my life, but it was like my first relationship was with a woman, and once I had done that entire painful coming out thing to my native York County family when I was a junior at Red Lion in the 1990s, I just hadn't entertained the idea of being with a man after that. So I had started drinking soy milk because I was sort of on this mission to become healthier, and as a result of that, I was the most fit that I have ever been in my entire life. I had this newfound sort of overconfidence, obnoxiousness that I think was sort of to be expected after a lifetime of always being smart and funny, or being told that I have a pretty face, which just means you're fat. So it's totally true. So losing a lot of weight and then also starting to date men brought about some interesting social changes. It was like some of the straight women who used to sort of act like they wanted me to have a crush on them now sort of looked at me like I was some sort of competition, which was weird. And some of my gay friends actually ostracized me. It was like the lesbians called and they wanted back their free toaster oven, like as if I had unsubscribed or something. I remain an avid fan. So while I think that I was sort of projecting this air of badassery, I actually felt incredibly lost. And I was also like woefully naive. I had only dated women before this, and statistically speaking, your chances of like the really freaky shit, like your date drugging you and making you wear their dead grandmother's house coat while they dismember you, are infinitely lower when you date women. So eventually I found a really good therapist who explained to me that she thought part of the problem was that I had a void in my schema, which sounds like a skin thing, but it means basically that I had a hole in my worldview. So even though I in no way grew up in some sort of fairy tale, it's like I was clinging to this irrational belief that people are inherently good. And I didn't have a category, like I was apparently had left myself vulnerable because I didn't have a category in my schema for someone like a narcissistic sociopath. So in short, it was basically that I didn't realize that having a very firm grasp on the existence of evil was a prerequisite for dating men. The guy I met at Maywin's fell into sort of a more benign category that I'm just gonna call basic. He was super handsome, super fit, and so cool. He was exactly the kind of guy who would have never approached me when I had a pretty face. So when he asked me to come back to his apartment and help him chop vegetables, I was actually kind of flattered. I also thought that we were going to chop vegetables. So as I'm standing at the counter and I got this celery and everything, I look over and he's sitting on his couch and he has exposed his, Phil, he has exposed, yes, he has exposed his intentions. And I put down the knife, and the thing about Kodo is that once you force your way past this newly divorced, horny hipster, like there's no way to get out unless you have one of those electronic key cards. So yeah, it was late and I was frazzled, so it's possible there was, but I climbed that 8-foot fence and I was sort of thinking, like, is chopping vegetables some kind of straight people euphemism? Like, I should really get a better grasp on the vernacular. But I wish that I could tell you that that was the night that I found the missing part of my schema. It was not, but I did find it eventually.